I know a few things about love. One of the things about love is that it can only exist in an atmosphere of freedom. That if I put a gun to your head and say, do you love me? And you say yes, it doesn't mean very much. But that if my wife goes and says, I could pick anyone I want, I pick him, that means something. So I really believe that if God is love, that he had to make us free. And the problem, of course, with freedom is that if you're free to say yes to God, you're free to say no to God. You're free to say yes to love, you're free to say no to love. And the history of human pain is the history of people saying no to love. Freedom means that I can't make you do what I want you to do. It's very helpful to me, because if God's pulling all the strings in this world, I don't like him anymore. So sometimes people say, well, gosh, the way you make it sound like people don't do the will of God and there's nothing he can do about it. And I go like, yeah, that's really actually very helpful. Because you can let God off the hook for your Aunt Sally getting murdered. You know, Joey gets cancer. Maybe God didn't want Joey to get cancer. Maybe the whole thing is spun out of control. Like maybe it's not just people's wills, but it's like literally nature and our physiology and all this, like it's all messed up. And so you say, well, why doesn't God just fix it? And the answer is, well, he kind of can't. All he can do is keep loving people and try to win them and woo them into loving each other. And the idea is that the kingdom of God happens when everybody surrenders their will freely and begins to do the will of God, not because he's making them, but because they embrace it. And the only question you have to ask yourself is, do you think that given an infinite amount of time and an infinite amount of love, that eventually it wins everybody over? The good news about God is that he's loving, that he is love. The bad news about God is that he's not in control of everything that happens.